Hey, everybody. Oh my gosh, I haven't done this in forever. Okay, I have another screen up and I'm going to pull YouTube up so that in case I can't see your guys' comments on there, I can see them in various places. So I apologize ahead of time. If I look off to the side, it's because I haven't done this in a little while. So let's check this action out. And of course, it says I'm live. And I appear not to be. Anyway, so I wanted to get on here and hang out with you guys a little bit. Today is April 11th and it is 9 o'clock. And for whatever reason, YouTube's decided that it doesn't feel like posting my live stream. Goodness sakes, I do not know how to do this. Clearly. It says I'm live. Where am I live? Hey, I can hear myself. That's terrible. Okay. Everybody there? How we doing? Okay, so no, it won't. It doesn't want me to do that. Oh well, we're gonna figure this out. So, it looks like I can see. Okay, I can see them both. Hot dang. Okay, this works out pretty good. So, hope everybody's had a good week. It's Friday. Thank goodness. TGIF is a real thing. And I am here. We're going to chit chat some about Amigurumi. I know, shocking. Me talk about Amigurumi. I'm a little caffeinated, so I apologize if I'm a little. But I have been working like really hard on some very cool new patterns, on some very cool new stuff to add to the next level Amigurumi design course. And so I wanted to connect with all of you guys and talk about that a little bit more before I have a webinar coming up. So there's a webinar coming up on April 25th. It is called How to Design a Star, STAR Amigurumi pattern. It is a method that I've used for all of my patterns. So it's a test is what it really is. And your patterns need to pass 4 tests, S, T, A, and R. And in order to, if it passes all those tests, it has a better shot of hitting with your audience and really turning into something that can push your business forward and is going to be, hopefully one of your best sellers. So over time, I've definitely used this. I've tweaked it here and there. And I found that it really does make a difference when I'm making something. So I wanted to use some examples. So obviously Vincent in the background was a pretty big hit. He still is. He's my, he's a lot of people's favorite, and I love that. He's my favorite too. So, but Vincent was put out at a time when dragons were really big. So I knew he was going to hit well with my audience. I made sure that he was simple enough for most, I wouldn't say beginners, but confident beginners to handle. And I made sure that what I was offering them was going to be high quality, and so they could understand it, they could follow directions, they could have all the pictures they needed and things like that. So of course he hit pretty well and was really great. I recently had a pattern that is doing relatively okay, but it missed on one key of the stars, and that is that it didn't quite hit with my audience. And so part of it was because I designed it for myself, not as much for my audience. I wasn't, this was not on the list of things people were asking for. But if you guys haven't seen him yet, this is Zeke the land shark. He is named after my Deke, who is my puppy, who is under my desk right now chewing on something. And land sharks are adorable and fun and exciting, and I thought it was a great idea, of course, because I wanted one. But a lot of people don't need a land shark. So it was kind of one of those things where it has hit on 3 points and not that 4th. So it hasn't been, one of my best selling patterns. Obviously, I'm going to do better next time. Making sure that it really hits and making sure that it hits all 4 of those categories. So we're going to talk more about that on April 25th, and it's going to be really great. amigurumi is really big right now. It really has a great future, and goodness sake, sorry. I hope you can't hear him like trashing my office while I'm talking. It really has a big future. It's going to continue to be a big art form in the crochet world, and I know that there's a lot of garments right now that are really big. I love the fact that the hex cardies are really back. Like, that's super cool. But amigurumi is here to stay, and I think that in this year it is coming out to be more of a form of escape and expression, in a time when everybody's kind of stressed out. Everybody needs something to take them away. Books, movies, those kinds of things are really important in people's lives, especially when there's a lot of turmoil going on. There's a lot of people arguing with each other. There's a lot of yucky things that you're finding online, and amigurumi is going to be a great escape from that, and a great way to express yourself, to express who you are, express just what brings you joy and what makes you happy. And goodness sakes, I'm taking the bell off my puppy because holy moly, he's loud. Come here, you. There, bell removed. Hopefully that will help slightly. But yeah, so I don't know about you guys, but I love stuffed animals, and I always have. Stuffed animals play a big part in my memory of who I was as a little kid. They even play a big part in my memory as I was growing up. So even in college, I had stuffed animals all over my dorm room, and I didn't care that, like, if people thought that was like too kiddish. For me, it was a connection to what was going on in the world at the time. I have a little Gandhi doll. He's about this big, and he was traveled around with me in college. But I had like a Blue's Clues doll in college. Like, sometimes you need those stuffed animals as somebody to talk to, somebody to hang out with, a friendly face when you come back from a really hard test or a really bad day at work. And I think that is going to always have value, and I don't think that's going anywhere. Now, how can you tap into that if you're a designer? The biggest thing, and we were talking about this just yesterday in Crochet Business Academy, which is super interesting, but is making sure that the pieces you're making draw on your audience's emotions, making sure that what you're making is meaningful to other people. This guy is meaningful to me right now because I have a puppy, and I have a puppy shark, and my puppy shark is legitimately, much like this. This guy has like a gazillion teeth, and my puppy feels like he has a gazillion teeth. And I'm going to remember that forever because I have this little plushie now to remember that phase and why I did it. You need to find that in your audience, and it's there. I mean, everybody's looking for something right now. I don't know what he's destroying, but he's destroying something. Hopefully not crochet. Oh no, it's a bed. You can see him down there with the bed. So, but yeah, this is going to be a phase. I mean, I'm going to have this video forever with him ripping apart a bed in the background of the video because this is part of the life I'm living right now. So I made something to reflect that. Keep that in mind. Reflect what people are wanting to believe in, wanting to do, and needing to come home to and give a big hug to in the evenings, because that's what we all need right now. Is a big hug. Regardless of like all of your views or whatever, everything is expensive, everything is a little harder, and we all need a big hug from a stuffed animal. So but yeah, so we're going to talk about that pretty in depth on the 25th. If you haven't signed up, registered for it yet, there might be a registration link in your email. If you are on my email list. If you are not on my email list, let me grab that link for you guys. I have no idea if I can put things in the comments on this streaming platform, but we will find out, won't we? Let's see here. We will break my computer. Yay! See if I can get this figured out. Well, that's taking 30 years. I won't worry about it too much. So, there's going to be a webinar on April 25th. It's going to be at 11 o'clock in the morning Mountain Time. So if you can make it live, that's awesome. Then you get to ask questions. You get to hang out with me. We get to joke around and be a little bit more dorky. You get to listen to my puppy wreck something. Actually, he will not be here for that, I promise. But we're going to do that webinar, and we're going to talk more about how you can make patterns that will sell to your audiences as a designer. But what I want to talk about more today is the design method that goes along with what the webinar is really all about, which is about the course that I offer, which is called Next Level Amigurumi Design. It has produced some really incredible designs this year by students. Some amazing stuff. Wearable dragons that I'm completely in love with are coming out of Fiber and Fable. Boy, I hope I didn't screw that one up. My friend Lauren's business. She's makes beautiful, beautiful things. And wearable dragons, guys. Yes, wearable dragons. Anyway, and she's not the only one. There's some amazing stuff. Kitty came out with this beautiful little Mothman. There's some fantastic stuff coming out of Jen. Happy Smile Crochets stuff. But they took this process that I have, this design process, and they've used it to make their own imaginations come to life. And that is the coolest thing ever. It's the best moment ever for me to see you guys like pull something out of thin air that nobody's ever thought of before and turn it into reality. Like this guy. So what I did is I've been designing for a long time. And so I went through and I started trying to streamline the process. I got really, really tired of making pieces and then throwing them out because I didn't like the way they looked. And it wasted yarn, it wasted my time. I just didn't like it. So what I started to do was try to find a way to streamline the process. So the first thing I did was, I realized that when I looked at my old work, I could say like, oh, well, I want that head to be about the same size as Vincent's head. And so I would use his head as like a reference and write down the math for like how big around it is in the widest places and stuff. And so I was like, well, maybe instead I need to make some samples for that. So I made samples. They're balls. And everybody in Next Level makes these. And there's a huge variety of sizes. And you get your little tags for them. And you make your samples so that when you go to make your next thing, Beak says hi, you have a sample and you can say like, well, I want it to be this big. So now I know how many stitches around I want that piece to be. And then I was like, well, what else can I do this with? So I started doing it with skinny parts. I started to do it with curves. So like I knew how tight of a corner things made. Then I discovered that there's a math formula you can use to make all of those curves do what you want them to do. Without having to guess, without having to be like, well, I want it to curve about this much. I wonder how many curves or short rounds it's going to take to make it do that. Well, there's math formulas. You can just figure it out. Okay, well, I need it to curve X amount of degrees. I just need to do the math. So there's a lot of things that you can do ahead of time. And I realized the more we put it together, the easier it was to just write it all down on a piece of paper, do all my math ahead of time. And the first time I pick up a hook, I have a pattern to do. Stop it. I have a pattern, right? I have a piece of paper with a pattern on it, and I can crochet that pattern based on what I wrote out, rather than, so let's see if we can find it, rather than trying to design a pattern, with test and tear. So yeah, this is kind of scattered, but this was something I was working on recently, and you can kind of see it's marked up in a bunch of places. So what I did was found something I liked, and then I used all my math, all my samples to plan the pattern before I started. It worked pretty good. I did tweak some things in the long run, and that pattern's kind of been set aside for now, but it'll be back. Um, can you guys see this? Oh, you can't now. My dogs are on either side of a baby gate, and they're trying really hard to hang out. And so that's what next level amigurumi design does. It teaches you how to take an idea, take an image, take a sketch, even no matter how terrible it is, use your samples and create get in here. Y'all suck. Both of you. Y'all suck. This is this is what happens when I don't create the puppies for live events. So yay. Note to self. Never ever have the puppies out at live events. Unless you guys get a kick out of the fact that my dogs are like wrestling in the background while I'm trying to talk. So yeah, I want to share this design method with people because I know everybody else is as frustrated with the old way as I was, and it's not fair. It's just not fun to do it that way. So this is way more fun. Not as much fun as what this little runt is having with destroying this bed. Nothing is quite that fun. But it makes it a lot easier and a lot more, manageable. My sample boards are over in the corner there, where I have currently a bunch of my samples. I actually have texture samples as well. Barb says, leave the dogs on the live. I love them. They're a nightmare right now. I don't know what I did. They've been asleep all morning, and then I turn the camera on, and they both go crazy. One is digging in the bed. One is chewing on the bed. They're both making horrible snarf noises. I give up. I swear. What? Get a terrier, they said. It'd be fun, they said. I don't even know what I was talking about. How sad is this? But yeah, so design samples. That's what I was talking about. Textures. So like I did a course on texture. And so we learned how to make fur, and we learned how to make feathers, and we learned how to make loopy fur, and we learned how to make cool, like funky textures, like this one. That is a really awful video. And so, I do my best to make sure that everybody has the tools necessary to make whatever they have in their imagination. Whether that be a puppy shark to go with their existing puppy sharks, or whether that be a unicorn or whatever. I did want to show you guys a piece that's in process right now. You may recognize the head style a little. It is based on Murdoch the Kelpie's horse head, but this is going to be the latest design. He should be out here in several weeks. He'll probably go to testing shortly. And so that'll be a fun one too. So, Joy, I want to improve as a designer. How do I do that? Joy, there's a ton of different ways to improve. So some of it is you need to decide what your goals are as a designer. Do you want to make more complicated things? Do you want to make bigger things? Do you want to make things that appeal to your audience in a different way? Or are you making stuff like custom stuff for individuals? So you want to be able to freehand better, like maybe make something that comes out of thin air one time and you don't need to write it down. There's a lot of ways to come at that, but what I would recommend, and obviously I'm a little biased because I came up with the program, but is to find a design method that allows you some flexibility so that you can come at it from the angle you want to. So like even if you're just doing a piece one time, having something like this diagram where you're going to diagram everything and write it all down, it makes a huge difference in the length of time of the process. One of the things we teach, well, the biggest things that we teach in next level amigurumi design is how to make shapes do what you want them to, how to make a tail that wibbles and wobbles and has curves to it. What we're going to be adding soon is how to fold pieces under. So you can see this guy, you kind of can't because it's white, but his cheeks are folded. And what that allows for is things like wrinkles on like bulldogs. It allows for things like this where you need a round, like a lip edge, and it allows you to do that. So that's going to be added to the course soon. But the course covers how to make curves, how to take a tube and make it curve the degrees that you want to, how to make like a slow curve, like a C, or how to make like an S curve. And to do that with the math ahead of time. So you're not just like fumbling through it and trying to figure out how to make it do what you want to do. It's going to teach you how increases and decreases work, and how they structure a tube. So, so that like, well, I want it to do this. I want it to do this or that and another thing. It's going to teach you how to branch or merge off tubes. So like for that Pegasus that I am working on, his knees start at this point, and you branch up to finish his thigh and his hoof. That is a technique, obviously, we call branching. There's also merging, which is taking 2 pieces or 3 pieces or 4 pieces and smooshing them together in a way that all of your stitches are accounted for. But your pieces now are 1 piece coming up, which means we work on bipeds. We work on 1-piece quadrupeds from the bottom up. So you make 4 legs and combine them in a belly and they come up. That's my favorite lesson. It is so much fun to do. Here's a piece that has that effect right now. Oops, there's some yarn stuck everywhere. So all of these feet were started on the bottom, and we made all of these legs, and we gave him a round belly because he's going to be kind of fat. This guy's going to be kind of chubby. And then merged the whole thing together. So he is 1 piece. This whole thing is just one big piece. And so we're going to learn how to do that. You're going to learn how to make tripods like this little wolfie here. That is a branching technique. So you start at his head and come down. You're going to branch off into 3 branches and have 2 legs and a body. And you're going to learn how to do all of that stuff so that when you get an idea and you have a sketch and you're like, how am I going to make that shape? You have all the tools you need to make the shape. You have all of your samples on your little boards over here, and things like that so that you can make the shapes that you want to make. Any shape. I mean, that's the really great thing about amigurumi is it is absolutely 100% possible to make any shape you can imagine. I'm never going to come at somebody and say, well, crochet can't do that, because it can. It totally can. It may require to be in more than 1 piece. It may require some finagling, but I can guarantee you can make anything you can come up with. And that's what's so cool about amigurumi, because if it is a 3D object and you can imagine it, you can make it. And I got I got advised one time that maybe I shouldn't be teaching other people to design using the techniques that I use. And I was like, well, why? Why would you think that? And they were like, well, because do you really want more people designing more amigurumi like that? Shouldn't you be designing them and selling them? And I was like, I don't have all the ideas in the world. Like, that won't work. Because amigurumi is a huge universe. Somebody else is going to make a land shark of their own, and this is not what they pictured. They pictured something completely different. Maybe theirs was like sitting down and begging. Maybe theirs, like, it doesn't have its mouth open. You don't know what their vision was. So everything that I'm doing is my vision. I want to see everybody else's visions, because that's what art really is. It's taking your visions, your emotions, and putting them out into the world. And that's what's so great about art. And so that's what we should be doing. So I'm glad that was helpful, Joy. It's really, really nice to have the tools. It's definitely saved me time. Right now, I'm working on, well, the Pegasus I'm working on is in a discontinued color and style of yarn. I can't find it again. And so if I run out, if I make 15 heads and they are not worthy, I'm screwed. I have to completely start over with a new yarn because the one that I have, I am the very limited supply. So because I have everything written down first, because I did all my math first, I'm only going to use this skein of yarn that I have, and I'm not going to have 15 heads lying around that I don't like, which was the goal in the first place. Save me some yarn, save me a ton of time. It's this art form is so much fun. I mean, I have a little bit, sometimes I fear I have too much fun. But I don't know if that's really a possibility. Is it possible to have too much fun? I don't think so. The puppy doesn't think it's possible. He's over there trying to get into my stuffing box. Puppy, knock it off. You don't eat stuffing. Stuffing is not good for doggies. Come here. Come say hi. Pup. Come here. He's like, nah. Oh, he's not eating the stuffing. He's eating the cardboard off of the stuffing box. Double bonus. Come here, you little turd. I know. Come here. Let's lock you down, huh? Locking you down. We're gonna lock down the puppy. Hi, doggo. Yeah, this is Deke. Deke is inspiration for a lot of things, mostly messes. But he was the 100% inspiration for the land shark. That's what's fun. I had the really neat idea because I made him blue with a white tummy. The land shark is blue with a white tummy, just like my Deaky here. Look, he's even gonna eat the land shark. The irony is real, dude. And so I was like, okay, blue with a white tummy because he'll match my doggo. And then I was like, maybe somebody needs to make a land shark that matches their doggo. Like, who has a puppy that, maybe a Rottweiler, and we need to make a Rottweiler colored land shark with little brown eyebrows and everything. Oh my gosh, that'd be so cool. So, I think that it'd be really fun to really pay homage to our little bitey puppies with land sharks. Land sharks everywhere. So what other questions does everybody have, or does anybody have? I love talking about design. I love talking about helping people express themselves and finding that inner artist. Everybody's an artist. Art is everywhere. It's everywhere. And this coffee, well, bad example because I designed the logo on this coffee mug, but the shape of the coffee mug itself is art. Somebody came up with that. The computer that's sitting in front of you is art. Somebody came up with that. And I just think that, when we can put our own art into the world, when we can take our own ideas and turn them into stuffed animals, it enhances the whole world. It makes everything better. Art needs to fill up every corner of everything. You can quote me on that one. I don't know if it's a quote-worthy quote, but, whatever. So, well, we're coming up on half an hour. If anybody's got any questions, holler. I was going to see if I can find that webinar link. Oh, here we go. So, this is going to be the link on how to write a star pattern. And that's where you can register for that webinar. Then you'll get the updates on when that's going to happen. You'll get like one the day before, and like one an hour before, just in case you forget to write it on your calendar. But put it in your calendar with a big circle around it. It's at the very least fun and educational. If you have no interest in the design course, that's totally fine. You're going to take away a lot out of the webinar, I promise. Especially if you are an Ami business owner or you're thinking about starting designing professionally. This is a great jumping off point. This STAR test is a great jumping off point. It even works in retro spec. So you can go back to your old patterns and be like, okay, how can I tweak them so that they do fit the STAR test now? Yay, stars. Yeah. How can you tweak what you did in the past to fit the STAR test so that it has a better chance of growing as it, gets more popular? A lot of it is, what can you do to really make it yours? Really, stray from trends or take a trend and twist it and make it yours. So that you stand out, so that people see your stuff and go, holy moly, that is Joy's pattern. Absolutely. I know her stuff and she's brilliant and I want to make this pattern. That's what you're going for. You're going for recognition. You're going for, ease of following, all those things. So, and I am having a blast teaching other designers how to not only have the tools to make the things in their dreams, but then going forward and helping them market those things, helping them learn how to be a better business owner, all that kind of stuff. So it's really fun. And this is a great business. And don't think that just because it's art or just because it's online, it has to be scary or hard. Okay, it's time consuming. It does break your heart sometimes. I mean, good grief. We're putting our little babies out there and then having somebody be like, ew, that baby is really ugly. And I'm like, but he's my baby. So it can be heartbreaking, but it's by far the most rewarding job I've ever had. And to do art for a living should be all our dream. So I will see you guys next week. I'm doing another live. We're going to talk a little bit more about the impact of amigurumi on a social level. And I think maybe we'll talk some math next week because that will be fun, right? Everybody loves math. Okay, well, see you guys next week, and hopefully we'll see you on the 25th at the webinar. Take care, everybody. Bye.